Weak grip versus strong grip, a debate that all golfers are firmly on one side of, and that is using a strong grip. I could not disagree more than that. So I'm a golfer who has used a weak grip for pretty much my entire golfing life, 1 to 1.5 knuckles at most. And I strongly believe that golfers will play better ditching the strong grip entirely. So let's get straight into why a weak grip works really well for me. Might not necessarily be what all of you need to do out there. So I know a lot of you are going to be outraged because a lot of you have a very, very strong grip. Such a common thing for amateur golfers. I'm going to get into why I hate that as well. So weak grip, 1.5 knuckles. And that's weak with my left hand. With my right hand, it's pretty neutral. Line between thumb and the meat of the hand goes towards my right armpit. So think of someone like a John Rahm. I've got a very similar grip. So for me, if I'm just going to hit some shots here with my weak grip, you're going to notice the ball is not necessarily going to go to the right all the time. That's a myth. That one actually missed the green to the left. So just hitting some small little kind of smooth swings out there. We're going to see the ball never goes out towards the right like a lot of golfers will believe. So how do I do that? And why is it good for me and going to be good for you not to be super strong? So number one, what this is going to encourage me to do is to have a bit of wiggle room. So what do I mean by that? So when the club face is coming down and it's square at the most, I can now use my body in a more realistic way going through the golf ball. I don't have to have a crazy tall level of rotation and speed to be able to make what would be more of a closed club face work. I just need the club face to be relatively square. I could even have it on the open side of square, so slightly open, but still in the square spectrum. And if I have a swing where I don't necessarily turn too well from, which certainly would have been the first one here, I'll just miss it slightly left. Because if I don't turn too much well from it, my hands would save the shot. Ideally, do we want that scenario? No, I'm always working on stopping it. But if I do put a poor swing on it, it is not disastrous. If you put a poor swing on a strong grip, it is absolutely horrible. It is disastrous, which I'll show you in a minute. So that's a really good thing. And knowing that we've got a little bit of breathing room is so important. So for me, super, super important. I'm disabled with cerebral palsy. So cerebral palsy affecting for me, mine is diplegia, so it affects my left side. It makes it really tight and really weak compared to the right side of my body, which is still affected by it, but left side a lot more. So for my scenario here, I'm definitely not what you would call a proper athlete because I don't have that athletic capability due to my genetics. And so many of you out there might not be disabled, but you, again, might not have the genetics of a top tour player like Dustin Johnson, for example. So we know, just like we said there, we are not going to put the most ideal moves on the golf ball. We need to then know, okay, I have to have a little bit more breathing room to be able to make that work. That one I didn't necessarily feel like I moved that great for it. And again, I'm in a good spot. And then it gives us other little benefits as well, which helps for positions like I can use a little bit more left wrist flexion in the downswing because then that won't close the face off too much. It matches up with a weak grip quite nicely. But as you're going to see as this video goes on, I'm not even recommending everyone to swing with a weak grip. I just don't want you to do this. And that is really strong grip. So this is a thing that I have students who have a strong grip, absolutely. I teach a lot of students who have a strong grip, but the thing that they all have in common is they're fast. They're fast and they're athletic. Most of us aren't. It's a very lucky few people are. So strong grip, I'm talking about 4 knuckles. Well, really 3 knuckles and above. 3 knuckles you can get away with, but let's say 3.5 to 4 knuckles on the lead hand. Let's keep the right hand nice and neutral for just the argument's sake. So line between thumb and the meat of the hand towards your chest area or right armpit. We don't want it mega, mega strong, of course. So when we've got that, what do we know is going to happen? The club face is going to close, undoubtedly. So if the club face, let's say in this scenario, gets too shut, so the club face more close to my spine angle, club face pointing more down towards the ground. The only way for me to make this work repeatably is to turn a lot through the shot, have a lot of rotation, because what that will produce, one, more shaft lean. The better we turn, the more the hands get ahead at impact. Where that, let's say if I really close the face, hood it right down, shove the hands forward, the face starts to point, of course, and starts to open up and point more to target for us. Brilliant. But When we de-loft the club a ton, what's going to happen is the launch is going to get lower and lower. So if we don't have a fast club head speed, our ball speed is not going to be high enough to get launch on the shot. So that's where, if we are really de-lofting that club in that good scenario, we need the speed to be able to make that work, like Dustin Johnson, who can be strong and flex. But let's say for someone who's, I wouldn't even say mere mortal, I'm less able than a mere mortal. So let's see, for me, let's hit a bunch of shots with this strong left hand and see what happens. Now, bear in mind, I am a pro, so I might be able to get some. That might be okay, but let's give it a go. Okay, so far what I'm trying to do here, I'm just trying to put a normal swing on it. It's going to maybe look a little bit different because a grip change will change a lot of other things in your swing. I will predict that this will start to straighten up, but the first few here, whilst my brain is figuring out and panicking what on earth is going on, it's going to put a very similar motion through the ball for sure. It's okay, there we go. Just left all day long. But this is where what we would start to see, if I was, let's say, swinging with this for a good couple months, I would start to adapt. And when we start to adapt, we start to see, for most golfers on the planet, some nasty swing faults start to occur. So what is that? We start to see lots of forearm roll in the takeaway, because then that forearm roll gets the club face into a less strong position. So it opens the face up, gets it square. But then what's going to happen from there? The club shaft is going to be moving quite horizontal in the early backswing. And then if we continue to have a nice pivot up to the top, where's that club shaft? In a horrible spot. So what we start to see players slow down their rotation, pick their arms up. They get way too internally rotated with the right shoulder, with the elbow pointed behind. They get mega across the line. They'll get steep in transition as a result, just from their body trying to react to that very closed club face. It's trying to solve a problem, and it's solving a problem with a lot of mistakes going in there that are hard to massively work. But the thing I see daily basis, I get so many early extenders send me their swings online, and what you see is a very closed club face being for the root cause for a lot of them, and a strong grip being the result. Because if my club face, let's say at the top, is still really strong, if I'm coming down with a really strong club face, we've already established that most golfers on the planet can't turn hard and fast enough to be able to make that functionally work and move the body nicely. So what's going to happen, you're going to find another way to get this club face opening up at impact, super common. You're going to see the upper body back up. You're going to see the lower body go forward, early extend, because why that is a thing for this is because that raises the hands more upwards. And then when the hands get higher, the club face opens more up. Watch this. Again, I'm going to have a really strong grip and I'm going to really stand up on this ball. And we're going to see it's definitely going to go a lot straighter unless I just straight up mishit it, which could absolutely happen. So let's give it a go there. Look at that, immediately. Look at the distance, so it's not too far off where I normally was. Again, just around 150, just shy of it with an 8 time. Ball flight wise, you might think, oh, well, strong grip's working, looks good. But the swing was atrocious. There were so many bad things that were going on there. Again, you could hit millions of balls where you could time that up. Don't get me wrong. There's people that have had very successful careers who have done that. But you would not be watching this video if that's the case. You would not be on YouTube searching for golf instruction. So that's where, again, if I go and really stand up, it's going to raise the hands up higher, and that is going to get me to hit it more to target. And there we go. That's how we can see sometimes some golfers start to miss it hugely right when they've got a strong face, because their body is responding so hard. If that's you, you've got a lot of work ahead of you. That's just a few reasons to why I dislike a strong grip. It can work. Again, I say I've got many students who have a strong grip, they make it work. Very difficult to do though. We see loads of tour players. Again, don't look at a tour player with a super strong grip and think that's a reason why you can do it too. You've got to know that player, you've got to know their tendencies, you've got to know what is their age, how athletic they are, what club head speed are they swinging at. If they're swinging the club head at 130 miles an hour driver and you're swinging it at 85, that's not going to work for you, is it? So that's where you need to go in between the two here. You don't need to go weak like me. It's just how I develop my game. You need to go more neutral. So golf becomes a lot easier when you have a little bit more of a neutral grip for most golfers on the planet. So that's where you have 2.5 knuckles on that lead hand, and we know with the right hand, line between thumb and the meat of the hand points towards right chest area. Brilliant. You will play a lot better golf. Now, if you've been swinging with a strong grip for a long time, every ball is going to go out towards the right, because if I now stand up with this, it's just going to go that way. It's going to go to the right, as you can see there. That's actually lovely drawing back there. Got away with it. But it's going to be a tough time. That's where a lot of players will switch their grip and then go, see, I can't hit the ball with a standard grip. That's because you've been swinging with a strong grip for so long. Your body is so got used to it. And unless you've got that physical and athletic capability, I very much doubt you'll get better than where you are right now with that grip. So 2.5 knuckles. Do like Scotty Scheffler does. Get yourself a grip trainer. Every single time you're on the range, make sure that grip is feeling in a good spot. It's just so much easier. And then you can start to work on the things you start to see a lot of YouTube channels like mine and like other people's talk about. And that is getting that body to stay down, getting that body to turn nicely, doing all those good things, getting in a good takeaway, which is a good test I'll show you in a minute for what side of standard you're more naturally disposed to. So let's hit a shot here and we'll get right into that. So it just makes life so much easier for me. The ball's probably going to go a little bit left with a standard grip because I grip it weak, but if you're matching up a weak grip, like we said, you're going to get a lot of good things in your golf swing rather than if you match up with a strong grip, you're going to get a lot of tough things to work with unless you're fast. Okay, so here's a little test and a little drill that you can do to get yourself in a square club face position in an organized takeaway and just see what feels comfortable with your grip. Comfort's subjective when it comes to grip, but just gives you a little idea. So for me, if I'm going to get myself to shaft parallel to the ground here and have that club face slightly hooded, slightly turned down, to get that where that will be matching my spine angle, so square to the arc, I feel very comfortable and very easily I can do that with my weak grip with a little bit of bow in the wrist. That's how I would do that. Now, for a lot of other golfers, that might feel much easier to do if they get themselves into a nice normal takeaway by just having that 2.5 knuckle grip. What you'll find for most strong grip players is when they're trying to get that club head around the hands in a nice neutral takeaway, with that strong grip, they'll find that club face closed. Now you can work from there, again, matchups definitely, but for most golfers, they'll think, okay, that doesn't look like where I want it. So if they then go and change their grip, it could be even half a knuckle. Again, 3 knuckles can work, just to where you can think, okay, that looks a little bit better. That feels a little bit better as well. And then a great thing to do whilst you're doing that is get to your comfortable spot. For me, it's slightly weaker. There we go. Might be different for you. Look at that. And then swing up and swing through, just hit a ball, just a little one. Just making use of that. TrackMan decided not to pick that one up at all, but that's fine. Get yourself into that takeaway position. Feel what grip feels a little bit more achievable to get that. For a lot of you, it won't be 4 knuckles. Whether that's 3 knuckles, whether that's 2.5, whether that's 2, might be 1.5, who knows? But that's a great way to view it there. So, there we go, looks good. Just a little swing up, swing through, there we go. TrackMan doesn't like that. So, okay, that's a great way to do. I prefer that type of test than what we call the hang test, where you just have your arms and just let your arms dangle and hang, because when I'm looking down at there, I see 2 knuckles. I certainly don't see 2 knuckles when I grip a club in a way that I've always grown up playing golf. So that's where a lot of you, if you're like that, with the hang test, so you just let your arms hang, and then where your arms sit and where your hands sit from there, again, the hang test is you grip the club from there, but again, you're just not going to really functionally work with that strong grip. So again, I'm not saying that strong grip was completely unusable. It certainly isn't. So this whole video, I have a lot of students who make that work. There's a lot of tour players who make that work, but there are matchups that are needed. You need to do things to open up the face, which invites a lot of other faults to happen. And the most functional players who make that work without all those little bits and bobs is they are fast and athletic. From someone who certainly isn't that, disabled with cerebral palsy, it's much easier to be more on the standard side. In my case, the weaker side. Gives you wiggle room to put a bad swing on it and still play better golf, which is the name of the game there. So if you need any help with your golf swing, it's a link in the description for online coaching, and I have my free analysis as well if you just want to touch base, see what I have to say about your golf swing and what we need to do to move forward from there. can absolutely fire that through, no problem. And there's also complete guides down there on how to get yourself turning better through the golf ball, how to get yourself staying in posture for early extension, how to get yourself shallowing it better. Full complete guides, and over the top as well, more complete than you'll see anywhere else on the internet, I can guarantee it. So if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. And if you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.